Greetings, African people. Hope you guys are doing well wherever you are. Today we're going to talk about the shootings and the killings of black men, women, and armed black men and women in America. I did a video of Makaya, the 16-year-old girl who was shot some time ago by a white police officer, and I then talked about the options that the police officer had. He could have chosen to go for the lower body shots, meaning that should have been injured but not killed. It was very interesting some time ago when I came across Dog the Bounty Hunter. This is a very interesting man who has got an interesting past, but he was able to turn his life around and to become, I would say, one of the top bounty hunter there is anywhere, and brought the profession and brought a lot of insights into what bounty hunting is all about. But it's what he said. I watched this clip on TMZ, and I'm going to leave that link so that you can have a look at it, and also going to leave a link on the description on one of the papers where he gave an interview, or there's someone who's written a piece about him, where he says that he has arrested over 8,000 people, 8,000 lawbreakers, criminals, and all sorts of people, some with weapons, some attacking him and his team and all that. But he has never shot anyone, or no one has ever been shot and killed by him or his team. Now you're looking at 8,000 people. Is not a small number, and that's a huge number. And he said something very interesting, and I hope that the law enforcement agencies in America and in the world in general are going to learn from him. He says that what actually kills people is the lead, right? That's what kills people. It's not the weapons, it's not the guns, it's lead, because that's what causes the catastrophic injuries that ultimately leads to people being killed. And this issue of police officers being trained to kill, it's as if that's what they're trained to do. That's the first thing that comes to their mind, especially when it comes to black people. Because as I mentioned when I was talking about Makaya brand, I said that there are numerous tips, there are numerous videos on YouTube. You can just click and search for them, of white police officers who are being attacked by white men, but they shoot not to kill them. They have senses to go for the lower body shots, right, as opposed to the head or the chest, right? So there seems to be a disparity when it comes to black people. And when I saw Duane, Dog the Bounty Hunter, talk about this, I was like, it's very interesting, because he's talking sense. He's saying something that makes sense, right? Now it's becoming like a norm. A black guy is stopped by the police, and the next thing you hear, he's shot. How many black people have been killed by white police officers whilst they're running? You're running away from the police officer, but the police kills you, shoots you, and kills you. It doesn't shoot to stop you from running, but shoots to kill. So it does not even make sense when you hear that someone had an arrest warrant because they didn't pay child support and you end up killing them. So that invalidates the whole thing. Who then is going to pay the child support? Someone had something wrong with their vehicle and you decided to shoot and kill them. But there needs to be another way of looking at this issue. And so when Dog the Bounty Hunter talks about him having arrested over 8,000 people, there is a case that he's making that, hey guys, you need to listen. There's a better way of dealing with people who are suspected of breaking the law. Now, I'm not saying that any white police officer should just stand there if they're dealing with a criminal, a black person who has a gun and they're shooting. I'm not saying that they should just stand there and be shot and killed. That's not what I'm saying, right? No one would ever say that in their right senses. That's not what we're saying. But what we're saying is the numbers are going up and up and up. There was this other guy who was shot by the police because, again, this officer thought that they were reaching for their taser, but they reached for the actual gun and they shot this guy. Now, again, Duane, Dog the Bounty Hunter, talked about that, and he said he does not understand how a police officer would mistake the taser for a gun or a gun for a taser. The way or where the taser is usually held or kept is different from where the gun is kept or holstered. So how comes someone would say that they made that mistake? And how come that someone would say even the texture, the feeling, the weight of these guns are completely different? The feeling is different, right? But we need to take heed to what he's saying. That it is possible for people who don't have weapons, right? If someone has a weapon and they're pointing that weapon towards you, that's a different story. You have all the right to protect yourself and to protect other people around. And I don't think anyone will ever question that. And that's not what we're saying. But what his point was, over 8,000 people that him and his team has arrested for all these years, and no, they've never ever killed anybody. They've never killed. If you watch his programs, some of the people that he's arrested or he's dealt with, they're nasty criminals. They're nasty criminals. They're people who will do anything, but he makes sure that he arrests them, and most importantly, humanely. I have never watched any of his programs where I've seen a criminal dehumanized, in spite of whatever they would have done. He always brings that aspect to the humanity. You're a human being, regardless of what you've done. You have rights, and we respect those rights. But the law must be followed. We're here to arrest you. We arrest you, and we're going to take you to where you belong, to face the law, for you to have a chance to be represented by your lawyers and etc. So it's very interesting, and I hope you guys will watch. And I think he has a charity or a group that is starting to educate or to highlight the issue of all these deaths which are occurring, most particularly amongst black people, and or towards or against black people. That the law enforcement agencies will look at that and do some and listen to him, because I think he's earned, he's put in the hours to be listened to. He has that voice, because he's not just saying stuff as an outsider, but he's saying stuff as someone who has dealt with the most violent criminals in America, and he has brought them to book. Drug traffickers and all sorts of things, all sorts of criminals, and he has brought them to book, put them back to where they belong without killing them. That's the issue here we're talking about. And as I said, the good thing is, and again, I'm not bashing, and I'll never bash white police officers. I have worked with white police officers in my life for many years, and luckily, and the reality is that most white police officers are wonderful human beings. They're just people who are doing their jobs. The few white police officers that we see that have this thing that where they think that they have the right to kill anyone, especially black people, they are very few. It's a minority. It's a very small minority, right? I've been in the security industry for many years personally, and I've worked with a lot of people, and I know that that even looking at the numbers, the population of the black Americans in America, or Africans in America, and the population of whites, you can't. If most white people were white police officers, as people say, they think that way, that they have this thing whereby they want to kill blacks, the numbers would have been like crazy, because you're looking at the population, right? The population of blacks it's not more than 15% of it's around 15% of the entire population. So you're looking at maybe 70%, 80%, whatever, is against 15. It's the numbers don't lie. So that's how we get the numbers, that it's not that we are trying to, that the majority of white police officers enjoy or want to kill black people. It's just a very few, just very few of them, a minority of them. But as I said, you cannot take chances as a black person in America. You cannot take chances and think that, and you don't have time to think, is this the law-abiding police officer, or is this a crazy white police officer who wants to kill me? You can't take chances. So you've got to. I saw some detectives, blacks and whites, who have come together, and I think you can search them on YouTube. They train people, the public, on what to do when you're stopped by the police. And it's very important for blacks to learn, to go literally to get this information, to get this knowledge, in order for them to know exactly what to do. Because when in that situation, when you're stopped or there's an altercation, tensions are very high, and there's this build-up of emotions, and so you have to be aware of what's happening in order for you to react the way you're supposed to react, in order to save your life and to save the life of anyone, everyone else around you. So here at Holistic African Spirituality, again, we talk about you understanding who you are, and being spiritually awake, especially as an African, as a black person, wherever you are. We have a lot of things against us, and because of so many factors, right? But that doesn't mean that you should be ignorant. It's actually it means that you should be more vigilant. You should be more aware of your surrounding, more aware of what people think of you, and what other races think of you. Not because they hate you or anything, but just to be aware. I liken this when you go to the jungle and you look at the animals. Animals know where they belong. Right? You go to any jungle and look at all these animals. Each and every animal knows that okay, this is my place. If I mess up, I'll be eaten. If I mess up, this will happen to me. And we have even animals that don't come out during the day. They can't risk coming out during the day, right? We have animals, you can see animals when they're drinking water. They go and they drink water. You can see like several of them standing by, just checking around. And they drink water in tons. They know what time it is. They cannot afford, all of them, to just go to this lake or river and just bend down and drink water. They'll be gone. They'll be killed. They'll be eaten. That's the kind of place that we live. We're in a jungle. I think one of the song writer, singer, one of the reggae guys who sang, say that it is a concrete jungle. So it's just the reality. So you need to understand where you are and who you are, and you need to understand. And part of understanding that is your spirituality. Your spirituality makes you awake. Makes you awake. I've been in situations personally. If I wasn't awake, I would not be recording this. Several situations where I was like, if I was asleep, if I was thinking that, oh yeah, everybody loves me, and you know, they love me, and I'm just a human being. No, I am a special human being as a black person, and I understand that. And so what that means to me is that we do not, as black people, whether in Africa or outside Africa, you do not have the luxury of putting your guard down. You cannot do that. However, because of, as I keep saying, because of these foreign religions and people accepting foreign cultures, they find themselves in very difficult situations where they just put their guard down, and they think, oh, I'm dealing with someone who looks at me as their equal. No, you're equal to you. Yeah, you should understand that. And I don't understand what goes on. Like I've read so many crazy reports, police, killings, especially during this COVID-19 in Africa. The brutality against citizens is crazy, and I'm not trying to bring these two topics together, these two issues together, but I'm saying that it's very important to understand that even when it comes to us, when you look at the numbers of people who have been killed because they, for one reason or the other, in Africa, where the police said, you broke this COVID rule, or you broke that COVID rule, or it's crazy. But that's another topic, right? Today we are talking about Duane, Dog the Bounty Hunter, and what he said. And we should take it extremely seriously that a man of his caliber, and I know people will start talking about his own personal life, his private life, and what he did before he was in jail, he was arrested, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, you can talk about that if you want to. You can talk about that if you want to. But what I know is, in spite of what someone has done, their past is their past, right? He paid for it. Whatever he did, he paid, right? And what we should concentrate on is whether he's saying the right thing. Is whether what he's saying will save lives. And the reality is, it will save lives. There is no reason for a police officer to draw a weapon. There is no reason for whether towards any other white person or black or brown. There is no reason for any police officer to draw a weapon if the person they're dealing with hasn't drawn their weapon. If they should only draw that weapon if they say, oh, this other guy has a weapon. Okay, mine is ready. He's ready to fire. I'm ready to fire. to protect myself and to protect everyone else and to protect property and stuff, right? But not because someone has a broken light, whatever side or tail light or is broken, or the number plates are hanging out or by the side, or they have an arrest warrant, or they jumped bail or whatever. That's not reason to end someone's life, and I don't think there's any law anywhere that supports that. So thank you to Duane Chapman, Dr. Bounty Hunter. What you said is amazing, and what I hope a lot of people and police chiefs and staff will listen to you, and they'll call you in so that you can share your experience, your knowledge that you've acquired all these years. And for Black brothers and sisters in America, man, you need to understand what time it is. You need to understand what time it is, right? So when someone stops you need to understand exactly what to do. You need to attend those training sessions. There are people who are offering these training sessions for you to be aware. Your children need to be aware of that, because this knowledge can save your life and will save your life. And because, as I said, there are a lot of things against us. There are a lot of issues against us. There are people who, when they see us, the only thing they think of is evil. But there's a way to combat evil, right? You don't fear evil, but you need to understand it and to know how to deal with it. And one way to deal with that is what Duane is saying. We need to look at the lead, the bullet. Why use something that can kill if there is no imminent danger of being killed? Why do that? That's questionable at any given moment. So we want to thank you once again because of tuning into Holistic African Spirituality. Just remind you, wonderful Black brothers and sisters, man, you need to stay awake, right? You need to stay awake. And I know it's because especially when this kind of things happen to Black people, TV, whatever media houses, they don't have a problem in showing us dying, on being or suffering or calling for help and stuff. But when it comes to other races, they're very, very careful what they show, because they don't want to show their own people in these vulnerable situations or conditions. But when it comes to us, they want to normalize it, and it's a psychological thing. They want you to see, oh yeah, someone can just knee you, right? They can just put their knee on your neck, and yeah, that's cool. And again, let me just talk that a little bit. Do you remember they wanted to say that they wanted to twist that whole thing, that the police officer who stepped on a helpless brother, they wanted to say that his death never had anything to do with the police officer's knee pressed on his neck, but it's because he had taken drugs or some sort of thing like that, to twist it, because it's the thing where they wanted to normalize. It's a normal thing. Yeah, these are blacks who are taking drugs. They're drug addicts and resisting arrest and wanting to fight, and then this happened to him. So they wanted to look at George Floyd as a thing where as a human being who was this drug addict, but he was a dad, a loving father, a human being who had rights. And at least the court did see that. The jury did see that. The man who committed that crime was found guilty. But whether he was found guilty or not, that wonderful human being isn't coming back. And we have to do everything to avoid that happening again to anyone, not only to blacks, but mostly to us as black people. But that has to stop. Check out Duane, please. Duane Chapman, Dr. Bounty Hunter. Check him out. And what he said, people might say that he was caught up in some racial issues and stuff, saying things here and there. Listen, when you go fishing, right, and you throw that fishing net, it catches a lot of things. Plastic bottles, metals, fish, shoes that were other type of fish that are poisonous and stuff. So what you do, you get it and you chuck everything out that you don't want, and you take the fish that you want. Life is all about that, right? He might have said something, he might have done whatever he did, but what he's saying makes sense. Thank you guys for tuning in. Wish you all the best. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. Bye-bye.